State former governor Yahaya Bello. In fact, let me give you some background. Over the weekend, in fact, from Friday down till today, that's been one of the biggest stories that's dominated the news cycle. The appeal of the EFCC against the Kogi court order blocking the arrest of Yahya Bello, the immediate past governor of Kogi State, as we speak, is supposed to go before the Abuja Court of Appeal. Now, the anti-graft agency, of course, does have a case. They're saying that they want to prosecute Bello on corruption charges, but then a lower court put a hold on it due to a lawsuit that he, had put out. In fact, the EFCC is saying that they want to arraign Bello on 19 charges of money laundering, breach of trust, and misappropriation of funds to the tune of 80.2 billion naira. Now, the EFCC approached a federal high court in Abuja last Wednesday to get an arrest warrant while the federal high court in Kogi was delivering judgment on Bello's fundamental human rights suit. The Kogi courts, in a ruling on February 9, 2024, restrained the EFCC from inviting, arresting, detaining, prosecuting Bello pending the determination of a fundamental rights suit that he filed before the court. My guest is joining us via Zoom. He is a friend of our station. Of course, he's a human rights lawyer. Dr. Monday Ubani, so good to have you join us. You're shining. This economy is not touching you, but welcome to the show. Good afternoon. I think you're muted. Dr. Ubani.
Yeah, I think so. I was muted. I'm very sorry about that.
Yes.
I'm saying that the economic situation is affecting everyone, including all the people in the studio.
It's good to have you join us. Most importantly, people want to make sense of what's happening. I'm getting feedback from you, Dr. Bani. I don't know why that is.
I don't know. Is it my AC? Let me off the AC.
I don't think it's the AC. The feedback is coming from your system. I don't know why that is happening.
There's nothing here. I'm alone in the room.
Yeah.
I'm alone in the room.
I don't know why that is, but let's see. It only happens when I talk. It's like there's a radio there or something.
No, there's no radio. There's no radio on. There's
okay.
No radio on. Can we do telephone conversation if it's going to be disruptive?
Yeah. Well, let's try again. Anyway, yes. Let me start by asking you to give some feedback as to why you think the EFCC is having this back and forth with the former governor of Kogi State. Let's start with the fact that while they were trying to get him, there was a case also on, a fundamental human right that was going on in Kogi State. Many people are saying the EFCC made a mess of the situation. Several other people are also saying that the judiciary is the reason why we're facing what we're facing today. What is your take on this whole issue?
We must get it right, with giving a proper background, to issue of criminal investigation, all over the world. When somebody is alleged to have committed a crime, that there are agencies that are empowered by law to do that investigation. And I don't think there is any court that will want to step an agency, that is empowered by the law to, perform a constitutional duty or a lawful duty. You can't stop an agency from. You can only mandate an agency to perform an official function where that agency is falling. I mean, they're not doing that duty that the law has assigned to them. You can come by way of writ of mandamus to mandate that agency to perform. But I have never seen where it is proper for the law court to stop a body that is constitutionally or legally empowered to do a duty. But I know that under our laws too, you can go to court in order to seek the intervention of the judiciary for enforcement of your fundamental human right, where you suspect that your right is about to be infringed or has been infringed already. You can seek for a legal remedy in the court of law in order to make sure that the court restrain the violation of your right. But where it has to do with issue of investigation of crime, and you are not under any immunity, It will not be right for any court to say, no, you should not be investigated. The only thing that agency has to do is to comply with the legal safeguards that has to do with issue of investigation. You are entitled to be presumed to be innocent. So you are not supposed to be rough-handled. You are not supposed to be manhandled. What the agency will be looking for is to get information from you with regards to whatever they think they have against you. Then you now have to offer an explanation. But I have said it several times that why we're having problem with our investigative agencies is that they are not following the laws of the land in doing their duty. They have this interest, of arresting you and putting you in an indefinite detention without giving you the legal safeguards, that you're entitled to before they actually arrest you in any civilized crime. What they do is that 80% of the investigation would have been done. 80, almost 90. So by the time they arrest you, they're not going to come and keep you in an indefinite detention in the first place. What they would do is to ask you those vital questions, whether you agree or you don't agree, then they will now charge you to court if they have established a prima facie case against you. So there's no need of detaining you indefinitely. So because of this penchant to detain, people are afraid when they're invited by security agencies. They don't want to be a guest of, because one, the condition in those places are terrible. You can't even sleep there. You can't, the condition of that environment is usually terrible, smelly, no place for you to defecate and all. It's a terrible place. I've been there. I've been a guest of EFCC for 21 days. So I know no matter what, theirs is even, you have 3 square meal. You enjoy 3 square meal under EFCC custody. I've been there, and I had to sue them. And I was awarded 12 million naira damages for that wrongful detention. Yes. So I'm saying it's the condition and the manner of arrest and investigation that make people to be afraid. In civilized crime, people don't run away from the law. In fact, most of them want to be against because of the kind of condition. You eat good meal. The condition is, there is very well. You have television. You have all the facilities. Even in detention, abroad. So, well, here the condition is so terrible. That's why people are afraid. So I'm saying that in the case of Bello, he went to court, and according to them, the court now granted him and all that restraining EFCC, but with a caveat that unless there is a court order to that particular invitation for that particular arrest or investigation. So it is not complete to say that the court was restrained EFCC without taking into cognizance the later order that was also made by the court, except by a court order. So that's why EFCC now went to Abuja Federal High Court in order to obtain that court order that says he should be arrested and he should be under a warrant and brought for investigation. So in that wise, EFCC has complied with the law. But my worry is, why is Bello not trying to submit himself to the security agencies? Even if he's innocent, let's assume that he is. He is claiming that he's innocent. So why are you afraid to go to them and then don't create this drama that is being created? Okorocha did it. What has happened at the end of the day? Okorocha was arrested, and at the end, the matter died a natural death. So what is he afraid of? If his hands are clean, he doesn't need to, be afraid. He goes there, give them explanation that what you are saying concerning me is a lie. I did not steal any money. I did not steal 1 naira, let alone 84 billion or whatever billions you are calling. I did not steal it. And then they will grant him bail. It's a bailable offense. He has a team of lawyers, that are ready with him to go there and apply for his bail. So my worry is, why is he running away? And now that he's even in a hiding, he has restricted himself. He has put himself in a more terrible, solitary condition. Even than when he's arrested by EFCC, everyone knows where Bello is. But now Bello cannot feel free. Bello cannot walk in the street of Abuja. Neither can he walk in the street of Kogi because of the fact that he's running away from the security agency. So to me, I understand that EFCC has appealed against the order of the High Court in Kogi. I don't know what for, whether it is the earlier ex parte order. Can you appeal against ex parte order? No, I don't think you can. Ex parte order has a lifeline, either 7 days or 14 days. So even if it's an ex parte order that court in Kogi has granted, the timeline must have elapsed. Must have elapsed.
Again, the EFCC is seeking for a substituted, serve. They want to reserve, that particular warrant because, like you said, they had there was a caveat. It's a caveat that they're taking advantage of. But let's talk about, the coming in of the sitting governor now, and what the law would say about, all that has transpired. The fact that he's evading arrest, and evading being served this particular warrant, because once he's served and he sees that warrant, then the EFCC obviously has powers to take him into their custody. Are there any legal implications whatsoever, especially with the fact that a governor who does know that he has immunity, wading into the matter and taking him out of that premises, also thereby stopping the EFCC from carrying out their fundamental duties?
That is clearly an interference with the judicial process. You don't do that. You don't, no matter whether you're under immunity, even if you're under immunity, if you commit a crime, whenever that immunity expires, you can be prosecuted for that crime you have committed, because there is no timeline for issue of criminal jurisprudence. It can be prosecuted at any time. So if it is proved that it was the current governor that actually aided his escape, from arrest, he has clearly interfered with the judicial process, and that is clearly something that is criminal. When security agencies are carrying out their responsibility, you cannot interfere with that process. If you do that, it becomes a crime. So, but it has to be established that that's actually what happened. That it was him that actually took the governor, the ex-governor, out, from the back. I don't know what he did, So whatever method he used to take him out, if it is established that that is actually what happened, he has committed a crime for which he can be prosecuted when he leaves office as the governor. Because for now, he's enjoying immunity. Now, the issue of substitute service that the EFCC have adopted, they were supposed to arraign him on a specified date, and they announced it to the entire world. But up to now, he has been able to be served with the charges. So what they did now is to use substitute means now in order to serve him by publishing, the fact that he has been evading service. So you can use substitute means in order to serve him. So that is what they have done. They have complied with the law. But as I said earlier, this drama is clearly unnecessary. If Bello is saying that he's innocent, His Excellency, I don't see the reason why he cannot submit himself to security agencies and say, "Listen, what you are saying about stealing is not true. I didn't steal any cover from the people of Kogi. I am very innocent." And then because he's issuing press release and tagging what is going on as purely political and witch hunting, and that he is being persecuted and not prosecuted. So, but I think he should be able to offer explanation of all the things they're saying. We have all been there. I mean, I had a client, that was alleged to have stolen 69 billion. So when we appeared before the FCC and said, "Can you establish it?" They ran into problem, because one thing is to allege certain amount that have been stolen. Another thing is for you now to establish evidence, that says this is a crime that has been committed. So they said that the money that my client stole was from his account officer that was changing naira to dollar and bringing to her in her bedroom. So one or two questions that was asked that, look, this money you are bringing to our client in the bedroom, who witnessed it? Nobody witnessed it. Where did you change the money? So where did you bring the money? How did you bring the money and all that? There was no, but you are the account officer. If you're an account officer of a woman whom you said you change money for her to dollars, the natural thing is when you come to give her the money in her bedroom, she will ask you to go and pay that money into her account, since you are the person managing her account. And not for you now, because you are the account officer. Why would she ask you to go and change money and you bring it to her, and the money is not reflected in any account whatsoever that you are managing? So if you find out that all the allegations are falling, like a pack, pack of cards, because you don't be able to link the element of crime to the person you have alleged have committed that crime. So one thing is to make an announcement, this person has stolen, billions, 89 or 100 billion, and no problem. But when it comes to issue of, can you provide evidence that links that person to that crime? That is where they always run into problems. And that's why we're saying that we must improve our investigative study, method of investigation. Technology. Technology is the thing is being used to carry out comprehensive investigation in civilized crime, and not this orthodox method. You are making an allegation. Can you be able to carry out the forensic, examination that links that person to that crime? The moment you cannot do it, if you go to court, you cannot be able to establish. And when the court says the matter is dismissed, Nigerians will begin to call lawyers and judges' name. Oh, they have, they can't, because the fact is that the court cannot convict you on sentiment. The court must convict on evidence. So you must establish that evidence. And I'm having problems sometimes with EFCC in their method of investigation, because going to the press and mention all manner of names or amount of money that is alleged to have been stolen is a different ballgame. A different ballgame when it comes to real establishment of that crime. That is where they always are not proving that evidence. So I think that we must employ more of technology in our investigative, way of investigating crime, in order to make sure that we link the crime to the accused person.
Perfect. Let's talk about the politics of it. Mr. Nakpasa, the spokesperson for APC, was on, I think, Arise TV today, and he just kept going on and on about, he was this close to calling EFCC all kinds of names. He said, EFCC my foot, he tried to, demean the agency in itself. But he also talked about the fact, something that hit me was that he kept asking, do they know what Yahaya Bello did for Tinubu's campaign? At no point did he say, well, maybe Yahaya Bello should submit himself and let him be cleared of these charges. He kept harping on the fact that Yahaya Bello did so much for Mr. President's campaign. Why should the EFCC go after him? Questions like that, and saying that the EFCC never does its due diligence, just as you're saying, but then in a more cantankerous way. But for me, again, I'm going back to the politics of it. Several other people have come out to condemn the EFCC. In fact, I know of a group that is supposed to be CSO who's saying that the EFCC should leave Governor Yahaya Bello alone and go by the books, do things by the books. So as an officer of the courts, again, this group of people that are saying leave Yahaya Bello alone, a CSO organization, one that I know of very well, that are saying leave this man alone, you're not doing your due diligence, so leave him alone. And Mr. Nakpasa on the other side saying, well, this man has done so much for the president, leave him alone. Let's talk about the politics of it. What does this mean to the people, those of us who are watching on the outside? Again, those of us who have also sat through a Yahaya Bello administration, and those of us who have seen what is on the ground in Kogi State.
But we shouldn't run a country on the basis that if I'm a friend to Mr. President, or I've done something for Mr. President, and I'm alleged to have committed a crime, then I should go scot-free. So the law of the land should not be applicable to me. You don't apply the law of the land that way. The law of the land should apply both to the poor and to the rich equally. If the rich has committed a crime against the law of the land, it would be absolutely wrong for the president of the country to now look behind and say, oh, because this man contributed so much for my electoral success, so the security agencies in the country should not in any way interfere. In his life, whatever he does is above the law. If you run a country that way, there is no way we can make progress as a nation. And that is true. The truth of the matter is Nigeria is not making progress today as a result of the fact that somebody says, if you commit a crime and then join our political party, all your sins are forgiven. No, now. It means I can do anything, and then, tomorrow I declare myself as a member of that party, and then all my sins are forgiven. No country grows that way. No country, mark my words. And we are not laying any solid foundation for our children. We are not putting a country that people can respect, the world will respect, because we are running a country by the foot of whoever is in charge at any point in time. Whatever he says becomes law. Whereas every country is ruled by the rule of is law. There is a role for the law. There is a role of the law and the rule of law. law has a role to play in any society, or much as also there is a rule of law. So the moment we don't understand the two functions of law, the role and the rule, then we can mess up the entire system. Run a country that has no value, country that has no rule, country that has no law. Any man does whatever he feels like doing and getting away with it. So you see that young man telling you, do you know how much Bello contributed? So he contributed that money in order to now cover, it serves as immunity to any crime he has committed. No, I don't think that the EFCC chairman that is there will want even the president of the country to give instruction, don't arrest this man because of that kind of thing he has done. Or because Bello must have stepped on somebody's. I read one that maybe has stepped on the foot of some people in Asoro. So if he didn't step on any person's foot, then he cannot be prosecuted. And we don't do things that way. I think there must be a standard, and that standard should be the one that will be applicable both to the poor and the rich. That is how I feel a country should run, so that we can have a future for my children, for your own children. But the moment a country is run on the basis of who is in charge, and whoever is in charge does anything and get away with it, then the country will remain primitive. And unfortunately, there won't be any growth. There won't be any growth at all for us as a nation. So the politics aside, I think that we should not allow those around us to run foul of the law and be allowed to escape the law. That is not how to run a country. We must set a standard. And best international practice that if you commit a crime, then the law of the land should take its course. That's my understanding of how other nations run.
I've got 60 seconds before we go on a quick break, but I just ask this question and let you marinate. When we come back, you can answer it while I open up the phone lines. Just as you said that, the EFCC, maybe because of the situation in the country and political sentiment, who pays the piper, calling the tune, and all of the different directions they have been dragged into, one way or the other, are unable to carry out their duties as they should, and the background checks that you're talking about, the investigation, the details that would help them to nail people. But then there have been cases where monies were found in a house in Ikoyi. Till today, we know the owner of that house. That person became minister, has retired from being minister, is sitting somewhere and enjoying himself. And then several other issues. We've seen somebody with money in his babariga and they said, oh, maybe it was a doctored video. We've seen all of those things and nothing really happened. Will Nigerians ever be able to trust the EFCC and even the government of the day, whether it be this government or another, in fighting corruption? I want you to think about it, Dr. Ubani. When we come back from the break, you help me to answer that question. It's still Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
Every parent wants to see their child growing up happy and healthy. Introducing Renzo Vitamins for Kids, a secret to your child's daily nutrition and boundless joy. With Renzo Vitamins, your child will have the energy to embrace every moment and unlock their full potential. Give your child a head start in life with Renzo Vitamins for Kids, because a happy child is a healthy child.
Hello, excuse me. This Milo pack looks different. I'm seeing support energy release, bam, on the pack. Is it the same Milo? No, this one is new and improved. The support energy release means when you give your kids Milo as part of breakfast, you are giving them energy they need to go to school. Ah, I like this one.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them the new and improved Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
Water shield cement now confirm. Number one waterproof cement for Naija. Ogbonge cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Naija. New Lafarge water shield cement number one. New Lafarge waterproof cement now confirm. Good full stop for water wahala. With Lafarge water shield cement, water go collect. Tanjamu house, foundation and basement to call. No shaking, Ogbonge cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Naija. Lafarge, na confirm. Cement, new Lafarge water shield cement na confirm.
Put full stop for water wahala.
In a move to boost the economy and tackle rising living costs, the government has removed the controversial subsidy. As a result, transportation expenses have soared and the cost of living has become a burden for many. Introducing compressed natural gas, or CNG, a game changer. It's safe, eco-friendly, and cost-effective, burning clean and extending your driving range. Head over to certified conversion centers in Lagos, Ogun, Abuja, Kaduna, and Rivers to switch your vehicle to CNG and start enjoying cheaper fuel for a better life. For more details on the PCNGI initiative, send us an email at info@pci.gov.ng or call at 0700-0000-264. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram by searching for @PCNG Initiative. Join the CNG revolution today for a brighter and more affordable future.
CNG, cheaper fuel for better living.
Some call it a disorder, a disability. Having a skin with two distinct colors may seem to others like the end of the world. Not me! I'm a babe, a speck, a 10 out of 10. Be unstoppable, be beautiful with lush hair.
Lush hair. Be beautiful.
Thinking of traveling abroad for your Apple device repairs? Think again.
Hey, yo, check this out.
With Mac Center, Apple certified technicians, your Apple devices are in expert hands right here at home.
Real deal. Over 15 years of experience and state-of-the-art repair tools at your service.
Why wait? Get your Apple devices fixed with genuine Apple parts without the hassle of the dollar scarcity or even losing your warranty.
Whew. Visit us online at www.maccenter.com.ng or give us a call on 0809-558-1906 or 0706-444-8877.
Mac Center, bringing global Apple repair standards to your doorstep.
Enjoy the delicious creamy goodness of Cowbell. Cowbell contains Vitarich and vitamin B9, which supports brain development. Use Cowbell in your tea, cereal, pap, and other meals of choice. Cowbell, so creamy, so good.
When long throat don't make you chop as belleful, waka quick back to nature like our old mama and papa demo. Now the bitter with their food bitter, they wake up mouth and stomach to begin work on top the food to waka say ready where they.
Yo bitters they clean body inside out. If body no get dirty, the immune system go work well. Yo bitters they buy waist pain, constipation, and it gets correct vitamins them to make body they gym. Yo bitters.
Yo bitters available in supermarkets and pharmacy stores nationwide.
What takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with no sizzling cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans?
It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of Knorr cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables. So, go ahead and elevate your meals. Today, eat for good.
Mommy, my teacher said 90% of my brain will develop by the time I am 5.
Really? What else did she say?
She said I need iron in my food for my brain to grow well.
Oh, very true. And that's why I give you Cerelac Junior every day, which provides half of your daily iron needs.
And Cerelac Junior tastes so good.
Cerelac Junior with Iron Plus. It's all good, Mom.
Madam, you don't try this new Lush Hair 4-in-1 no-lie relaxer kit. We get free neutralizing shampoo and conditioner join.
What? Me, I know deal.
You not even sabi wetin dey happen for town. You see this Lush Hair relaxer so?
E no dey pepper, e no dey burn. E go even make your hair shine like oil.
Na so, Lush Hair relaxer kit na correct. We no go make your hair cut. We no go make your hair dry. E no dey pepper and e dey relax hair well. Simply time. Come by your own.
Lush Hair. Be beautiful.
On the Morning Crossfire with me, Kofi Bartels. You have the big names, the most pressing issues, and the sharpest conversations.
We must leave that place of talking into the space of doing.
Nothing are paying through their nose, and you are telling them after training they can't migrate. I will not be part of those who will give soft landing to the guys who are running the affairs of this country.
People are dying every day in an hour. People just go in and come out and read out stories to us. Come on, Kofi.
We must step beyond the talk. We have the analysis.
Join us as we dissect the headlines, bring you exclusive interviews, and dive deep into the heart of the matter. The big conversations live here.
Join Kofi Battles on the Morning Crossfire, weekdays 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. only on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Facts. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories, you know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, the program is Hard Facts. This is the Big Hard Facts. 99.3 Nigeria Info is a frequency. We're broadcasting live from our audio-visual studios right here in Itamiyan Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. I'm Maryann Okon. My guest, Dr. Ubani, analyzing the ongoings between the EFCC and the former Kogi State Governor, Yahaya Bello. The back and forth, the legalese that's been used, of course. Who dropped the ball and who didn't? The immunity clause of a certain governor who's been also brought into the mix, and of course the political aspects to all of this is what we've been analyzing. But doctor, before we went on that break, I did ask you a question about how this agency, the EFCC, will be able at any point, if it will be at any point, be able to regain the trust of Nigerians, because for many who have listened to this conversation, or many who have also discussed about this on other shows, they just think it's one of those media trials as usual. They make noise about it, and then, of course, the train runs cold. What would it take for the EFCC to regain the trust of the average Nigerian?
The appointment process of EFCC, we need to tackle it. We need to tackle who appoints the chairman of EFCC. As long as it's the president of the country that appoints EFCC, no matter how independent that the chairman wants to be, who pays the pipe and he takes it to. You are appointed by him, and he can remove you at any time. And there is no EFCC chairman that has not suffered one measure of disgrace out of office, by the incumbent president. There are so many. I mean, starting from Nuhu Ribadu, who was the initial chairperson and all that. So it has to do with the issue. We need to look at the issue of appointment again. Should we leave the president of the country to be the one to appoint EFCC? The president himself will have some people who may run foul of the law, and because he's one who appoints, you direct the EFCC chairman. It will be very difficult, and that is the truth. It will be very difficult for any EFCC chairman to actually defy the order of the president of the country. And sometimes we have executive interference from governors, and those who may have probably aided his appointment. So it's a big problem. So we need to tackle the issue of appointment. Then we should also don't allow any interference, because most of this, if I tell you what these guys undergo in terms of pressures whenever big shots have been arrested. I just cracked a joke the other day, and I asked God to forgive me. I said, God, please, in manning heaven, let him not put angels, to man heaven, especially those that will enter heaven. Because if God, makes any mistake of having angels to man heaven, Nigerians may bribe the angels. What they will do is
impossible.
Let Jesus and God be the one to man the entrance of heaven. Because Nigerians, there is nothing they cannot do. What they will do is that they will change all the naira to dollars, and by the time these angels see dollars, they may likely change their mind and allow certain persons into it. So, what money cannot do, more money will do, So I am saying that we should be careful, with appointment, because there are things they can offer you. There are these things they can offer you in life, as a human being, if not for God. It's so this that you will say, oh, no, I'm not going to. It's so mouth-watering. So the pressures are so much for those who are appointed into public office. I must tell you, especially those that do what EFCC is doing. The pressures are too many, too much, and all that. So let's look at the issue of appointment. Then let's look at the issue of value system. We have no value as a nation. There is nothing we can sit down now and agree that this is what we have agreed as a nation. This is our creed. Because any nation without value, anything goes. And it starts with leadership. If the leader comes in and says, no, this is my lifestyle, I'm not going to allow any of this to happen. You find out that the followers will all fall in line. But when you discover that a leader is as corrupt, then there is nothing stopping those who are following that leader to be not to be corrupt. So it's about leadership. So let's begin to evolve national value system we believe in. And it's very key. Other nations that are doing well, if you go to their nation, they believe in the rule of law. They believe that nobody's above the law. Even if you are related to them, the law, it will take its course. So that's why when you are there, don't do anything that will actually give you a law. So you must be careful. Even if your father is the president, you must follow the law. You must not, beat the. You know that the president of America today can be arrested for, jumping, for running against traffic. The same thing with the Prime Minister of UK. But you can't do that in Nigeria, even other local government chairman. So it's the issue of that we don't have value. So because we don't have value, anything goes. So, but the moment we today, let's have a value system, that will now preponderate and work for us as a nation. Everyone, key into it. You start learning those things from primary school, secondary school, university. It becomes a national ethos. So anyone that does anything wrong, he knows he's in trouble. Because there is no way anyone can, do you know that I hear that parents are the one helping their children, for jam. They are the one that could do.
You're going too far. Common entrance. You're going too far. Common entrance.
So your parents are supposed to teach you the way of righteousness. Is the one helping you. He's complicit. So what value have you passed to those kids? And so at the national level, no value. At the family level, no value. Even at the church level. You can see how our men of God, are behaving, They don't have any value. It's about how much you can be able to gather, how much dollar members will contribute. Not that you are using it to enlarge the kingdom, but use it to go and build estates. And you see these men of God building estates all over the place. And so you're telling me I should come and begin to give you all, so we need to. The churches, the mosques, there are no value anywhere in Nigeria. And that is a very national disaster and a colossal, embarrassment, if a nation does not have value. So my take is that for us to restore confidence in all these agencies, we need to really start from beginning to know what is right and begin to do it. Because those ones also complaining, calling your radio station, if you get close to them, most of them don't have character. They don't have, behavior. They're only waiting until their own turn comes. When their own turn comes, they will even do worse. So those guys who run down people in radio and all that, give them opportunity to be in power. Come and see what they will do in terms of, even, stealing money. So the point is that we must begin to inculcate this value system from homes and everywhere, so that even when we're in government position, we are not going to change our voices. We're not going to change our, integrity. We're not going to change the things we believe in and principle. That is the only way we think we can be able to, forge and have a nation that all of us shall be proud of. For now, there is no value system. I'm just telling you, there is none.
All right. Well, we want to bring Lagosians into this conversation. Lagos, join the conversation. 0201 465 7190 is the number for you to call. If you're listening from outside of the country via our mobile app or on our website, call us via Skype. That's Nigeria Info FM on Skype, Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube and on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. Join the conversation. Your questions, your comments, we would like to hear from you. Dr. Ubani is still here with us. Hello. Apologies, do call us back. Someone sent me a message. Let me start with that message and I'll come back to the phone lines. Someone sent us a message here talking about the issue of immunity clause. He says, immunity clause is a total calamity for a corruption-infested country like Nigeria. The immunity clause makes corruption cases much more difficult to diligently prosecute, making justice delayed and denied. The incumbent Kogi governor is probably exploiting the calamity to shield his predecessor. Also, Peter Odili, the former governor of Rivers State, actually got a perpetual court injunction against his prosecution. Why has the EFCC not appealed this catastrophe? I will never take the EFCC seriously until this very case is reopened and finalized. Ex-Governor Wike became a billionaire exclusively via politics, spending dollars everywhere, and nobody's questioning him. What a joke of EFCC corruption everywhere you go, says Doi. This one says, hello, Maryann and Dr. Monday. Why is it a big deal to investigate a graft in Nigeria, if not saliently for immunity granted to them by the Constitution? If this kind of immunity encourages impunity and illegality, why doesn't the law nullify or lower the bar for immunity if it has questionable character? Chisco from Ijego. All right, let me come back to the phone lines here and take your calls. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello.
Yes, good evening. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my name is Chike. I'm calling you from my code.
Go ahead, Chike.
Yes. I think Yahaya Bello may not escape this particular one because this is not a rumor that is in the public domain, but it was revealed that before the election, there was a video that the president Inana had his trouser wet, and it was revealed that somebody who is close to Yahaya Bello was the one who took the video, and just with the intention not to let this president now context because he's more older.
What does that have to do with anything?
The review, that was the review in that was what prompted this particular case now. So it's not because of he committed a crime that other people have not committed.
Okay.
So but not everybody will know about it, but I'm telling you exactly what is going on.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for calling. It's interesting. Hello.
Hello, Maryann.
Good evening.
Good evening.
What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
Well done for the good work you are doing.
Thank you.
Yes, my name is Godwin. Calling from Lesforolakwe.
Go ahead, Godwin.
Yes. Incidentally, I happen to come from Kogi State. And every record of Yahaya Bello's activities, politically, criminally, financially, and otherwise, it is in the public domain of every co-guide. Yahaya Bello, since he became a governor of Kogi State, workers were no more paid salary 3, 4, 5 months, and the net he will pay only 3%, 5%, and the rest go to his pocket. Politically, many lives had been lost during Yahaya Bello's hungry governmental way.
All right, quickly.
And the loss of other things. Mm-hmm. So, from the last speaker, please let us do away with that fabricated side of it. Yahaya Bello is a wrong youth and a wrong product, and he needs to face the music of all he has planted during his 8 years. Okay. God bless Nigeria, and God bless you, our baby Maryann.
Okay. All right, thank you very much for calling. Dr. Ubani, before I continue with these phone calls, someone said that, too many things played out during the elections, before and after the elections. Many people pitched their tents in different places, whether they were within the APC or not. But then this is a caller that is from Kogi State who said, and this is not the first time I'm hearing that salaries were owed, issues, emanating. I mean, we even saw how he divided a particular highway so that people who were coming from other parties could not get to their local governments to vote. Too many things have happened under, Yahaya Bello's watch. But do you see him getting away with it?
Yeah, if Yahaya Bello turns himself in, it is from the evidence he has against the allegation of EFCC that will determine actually his fate. If they have done their job very well and they have sufficient evidence that link him to the alleged crime he's alleged to have committed, then it makes it easier for them to secure conviction in court. Now that the Administration of Criminal Justice Act has made it easier for you not to appeal on interlocutory matters anymore, they have a way of handling criminal cases now day to day, and they conclude on time. I believe that if EFCC have done their job very well and have evidence to actually link him up to that crime, he may not escape it. Yahaya Bello, a lot of people do not have very good impression about his life. He was a youth, a young man that was given an opportunity to represent the youth in governance, and then probably present himself as a role model, so that youths can be encouraged, to go into politics. Since Yahaya Bello would have given or shown a good example of a young man that was given that opportunity, but he blew the chance. Honestly, he wasn't example. He's not a role model to any person. In terms of what you just said now, he destroyed the road. He destroyed road in order to deny access to a political opponent. And everyone that stood up against him was, he dealt with the judiciary. Judges suffered under his leadership. There is no person that was spared except those his bootlickers, those who, bow down for him as a god and all that. So he wasn't a good example of youth, who are given the opportunity to govern a state, so that he can present himself as a role model.
All right. Let me read some messages that are coming in on WhatsApp. Don't forget, you can join the conversation via WhatsApp. I still have about 4 minutes on the clock. You can send me a message on WhatsApp. Please don't call. 0809597585. That's 0809597585. Don't call me. Don't send me a voice note. I will not be able to listen to your voice note. All right. Someone here on WhatsApp says, why is it that leaders in Nigeria have sense of belonging immediately they are out of office, but torment people while they're in office? Momo sent us that one. This one says, please tell Dr. Ubani that the legal institution and personnel in Nigeria, have disappointed us, the citizens, disappointed God in heaven, and even Satan is disappointed over the manipulating of the law, the way the law is being interpreted by the lawyers in this country. The last election's horrible outcome that produced same Yahaya Bello. Yahaya Bello did not come in the last election, sir. Get your facts right. He's out. This one says, and the tribunal as well as Supreme Courts disappointed the whole world. Lawmakers also the same as those breaking the laws. This is Jeremiah from Ikeja. And then let me read this one before I let the doctor respond. This one says, Yahaya Bello has done more harm than good. And this has brought, he said he brought a tractor to destroy the only road that leads to his opposition for them not to get electoral materials. Ralph from Satellite Town. Dr. Ubani, somebody is directly accusing the legal profession for being part of the problem of corruption in this country. What do you have to say about that?
I will say that the legal profession is excusable from any allegation. Just like even the journalists also are accused. Everyone, we all have.
What do we do now? What do we do?
You know it now. Without brand envelope, we publish news. We all know what goes on. So the point is this: I want us to really agree that we have a problem, and that no profession, including the caller now, that I just said, is free. We all are complicit. What we need to do, as I said, the issue of having a national value system that all of us will begin to imbibe in our own little way, in our family, how we treat our wives, how we treat our children, in our offices, how we treat our workers. So there must be this value system that I want, that will evolve. It's evolutionary. So all of us become part and parcel of building a nation. Okay, how come even in the election, when it comes, we begin to tell people, oh, don't vote for this person. They now say, no, you cannot vote. You must begin to look at where the person comes from. Somebody can ask you to leave his state that you're not even part of Nigeria anymore because of election. So these are issues we need to deal with. There are issues. And by the time we get it right, there won't be any other blame. I don't want us to single out legal profession and say, because I've mentioned it now, if you don't do your investigation very well, and then the matter gets to court, and the judge now exculpates you, and discharges and acquits, they will say the legal profession, they are all tips. They have gone to eat money, and that's why but it is the executive that have not done their duty in terms of prosecution and getting the facts right in order to link. I'm also not saying that there are some judges who are not caught. There are many of them there are also many of them who are innocent. There are many people who have entered into that profession to work for God, and they know that one day they shall be rewarded. So it is for all of us to evolve a national law and agree on a value system that can help us to navigate as a nation.
We're in 2024, and the rest of the world is, like I always like to say, is going to the moon. People are doing all kinds of things. AI has taken over, but we're yet yet, in your words, to develop a national ethos. We don't even know what the Nigerian dream is. We don't even know where we want to go. We don't even know what type of democracy that we're practicing. Who's to say that we're ever going to get there? You have just 50 seconds, sir.
We'll get there. We'll get there because in the moment you lose hope, that's the end of your humanity. We must keep on keeping hope alive and all that, and then insisting that things be done properly. In my own little way, let me bring up my children to fear God and respect humanity and respect the rule of the law, respect laws of the land. In my own little way, in my office, the way I treat my workers matter. In my own anywhere I am, let me begin to exemplify. I'm in government now, if you don't know, and all that. In my own that little office, may I begin to show the light that things can be done differently and all that. So that's why, and I can't change my principle because I'm in government or whatever. I must maintain my stand. I am always for the poor. The poor must be protected in this country so that they can breathe. That has been my philosophy.
All right, I want to say thank you, Dr. Monday Ubani. Always a pleasure to have you in the studio. Our time is far spent. Let's hope that we can all practice what we preach. Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me once again. And first time.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
Every parent wants to see their child.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio.